Okay, so the first one in beginner, just let me check the microphone. Yes, it works. First one in beginner. So we had to spell the name of the video game. So and it's saying it's telling us to use a for of loop structure. So for, then we open parentheses, we define the variable that is going to be each value, then of, and the name of what we are iterating on. So what are we iterating on here? Sorry, let me zoom it. Okay, can you see it now?
Game or title?
So title, yes, yeah, title is nice. Yeah, title or game title, because these are games. Okay, so we had the for of. So it's going to iterate on each of. So we have a string. So it's going to iterate over each character of the string. So we have to define, let's call it character of game title, and then so now we need to check. So now we are going to iterate over each character, but we have to store these characters somewhere. It's going to be an array, because if we read the test, we have the array here. So we need to declare an array. Let's call it characters. And then game title dot push, sorry, not game title, characters dot push the character. Now we return the array with all the characters. Will this work? Do you understand it? Let me test it. Yeah. Okay. So it was the first one, the third one, and the fourth one. So I'm going to skip the second one because everyone solved it. The third one. Okay. So we have an array with numbers, and we want to double its number. So we are going to iterate over each element of the numbers array. That is going to be a number. So we have to return. I think this was the tricky part, because we are splitting. So if we have the curly braces, we have to write the return. And then number times 2, which is a star. And this should work.
We can delete the curly braces and
Yes, you can remove it. Yes, yeah, it would be equivalent. Yep. Actually, it would be easier. Okay. So now this one is the trickiest one. So we have on the tests. We are passing 2 arguments. First one is a date. The second one is the minutes we want to add to the date. So let's define the parameters. So the first one is going to be a date. And how do I call the second one? Minutes. Okay. So now we need to modify the minutes and add. So we have to modify the minutes that we have on the date and add the minutes we have as an input, as an argument. So we need to use the date and get the minutes of the date, and we need to add 30. But we need to set this to the new, so we need to do date dot set minutes, and the minutes are going to be the minutes from the first date we had plus the minutes, so like this. And now we return the date and the minutes of this date that we modified. Okay. I think this should be it, right?
You have coded the minutes, right?
Sorry?
You have coded the minutes.
Oh yes, yes, sorry. So minutes, exactly. Thank you, Andrea. So let's check it. It works now. Okay, so now let's go to intermediate. I guess. Okay, so I'll skip. Oh, there's still 5 minutes. Okay, no worries. If it finishes, I'll start it again. So the second one. Because yeah, I understand. If I was doing it, but I skipped this one. Okay. So first one, we have an object with some properties, and some of them have numbers, and we want to get the average of these numbers. So these objects are CSS properties, so I'll call it CSS. Do you agree with that name? Yeah, CSS. So so now we are going to filter the properties that have a pixel. So CSS.filter, and how do I do it now? First of all, can I use filter on CSS? No. Why not? Someone that is not Andrea. Because it's an object, and we can only use filter in arrays. So what do I want to filter now? The keys. Okay. So how do we create an array with the keys? Or the values? No, but objects. I prefer doing it with the keys. So I'll do it with the keys. Object dot keys, and now the object CSS, and now we can filter it. So filter, let's indentate it. And each key, or let's call it property, and now we want to filter the property of the object that had a pixel on it. So we do CSS property, we're going to get the value. So if this includes pixel, we are going to get the properties that have a pixel, so the numbers. So I'm going to test it to see what we have so far, to see if we are actually filtering the. Oops.
Includes.
Yes, includes. Okay, so now we have the properties that have pixels. So padding top, padding left. And now, after filtering these properties, we need to get the average of the number in these properties. So, do you remember how to get the average? I think it was the first word challenge or the second one. Reduce. Let's use reduce. So dot reduce, and now we have keys or properties. So the first parameter in this function inside reduce, what was it? The total. So total, and then the second one is going to be the property, and then I think and we're going to need the array because we filtered it, so it doesn't have the same length as the first array we started with, which wasn't an array, actually was an object. So we need the index and the array. Let's call it properties. And now let me indentate this to make it more readable. So now we need the initial value, and inside the reduce function we are going to have the total plus. Does someone know what to do next? So it's going to be, we need to get this value. So we are going to do CSS property.
But it's still string.
Yeah, yes, but first we need to get the value. And now, how do we get the number from a string? So parseInt. parseInt. And now we have to divide it by what?
Parse float. What do you call it?
I used parseInt, but we can try it with parsefloat if you want. Properties dot length. Yes.
You need to put parentheses.
Where?
Oh, well, I guess actually you don't need to just order of operation. Never mind.
Sorry?
Order of operation, you'll be fine.
Okay. So let me see how to make this. Yeah, I think this is actually on the screen. It's just going to the next line because we have this zoomed, so it should be on the length. We shouldn't have elegance penalty. Let me check that everything is okay. So we have this here, so there's something wrong. So we have this callback function, properties.length. I need closing where?
After arrow, you open the parentheses.
Uh-huh.
There, but no, yeah, that one.
So
The one after
The one after includes
You open one there, is it closed?
here. Yeah, it's closed. Yeah, so it's because the screen is yeah. So let me see if I get. Let me test it. So we have a missing parenthesis after the argument list. No, but I have yes, I have actually yes. I need another parenthesis here. Yeah. So now let's test it. Yeah, it works.
With past ints, if you, so in your filter, when you've done property and then you've done the includes, if you use past int on a string that doesn't have a number, how does that evaluate? Is it just
What is going to be?
false?
I think it's going to be -1, but I'm not sure.
Like if
I-
you did, so if you just did filter and then you did,
So let's do it. So console.log parse int and a string. So let's test this.
can you console logging this?
Yeah. Sorry?
So can you console logging?
Huh?
I didn't know you could console logging.
Oh, something went wrong. Probably no, not a number. I'm going to return not a number.
No. So, because if you filter and you get a false value, so if you get like not a number, then it doesn't display it, right? So could you say?
But no, that would be on React. But here I'm only filtering values that have a number because I already filtered before.
But that's what I'm saying. So in your original filter, if you just did pass in instead, then would that not already get rid of the properties that don't have a number plus you put the number out?
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah. It makes sense. Yes. So you mean do parsing CSS property, right?
Yeah.
It's a problem if you have to just take the pixels, the length or percentage will be different. But
Yes, but because in this case it's telling us that are the ones with px, so that's why I'm looking for px. Okay, I'll go to the next one. So first of all we have this, that is, yeah. So we have an array of objects that are YouTubers, and these YouTubers have a channel, and then they make some challenges, and these are their positions. And we want to filter the ones that at least won one. So let's start by return YouTubers. Sorry, YouTubers. It's an array, so we can use array methods. We want to filter, right? Because we want to have more than one if there is more than one. So we are going to filter. Then each one is going to be a YouTuber. Then what do we want to filter? The YouTubers that has a position of 1. So YouTuber dot positions dot find, because we want to find the position 1
we can use includes as well.
Yeah.
or includes, yes. Yeah, let's use includes. Includes 1. And now we're going to have an array with the objects that have a position 1. But what we want is the names, the name of the channel. So this array, we have to map it. So let's map. Now, YouTuber, sorry, and this space is going to be an elegance penalty. So YouTuber is going to be the YouTuber.channel. Because now we want to have an array with these numbers, sorry, these names, but only the ones that have the first position that we got already. So now afterwards, what do we have to do to return a string? Someone that is not Andrea or Alex. So we have an array and we want to return a string. So we want to join them, right? We want to join the elements of the array. So we have an array with strings, yeah, right? These are the strings.
What if you click on test now? Can you see the result?
To test it, yes. So we have this array that are strings. We are not seeing it here, but they are strings. And we want to join them. So what do we use? Join. Okay. And what do I put as separator? What is between each of the elements of the array?
Comma space.
Comma space. So comma space. And this should be it. Yeah. So let's do the next one. I'll skip this one because already Ricardo did it last week. So find the repeated city. What I did, the approach I took was I used sets because this week we did the board challenge on sets, but there's other ways to do it. So I'll do it with a set. So we have cities, right? That is an array with several cities. So I created a unique cities set or array because I want an array because I want to compare it with the first array. So unique cities is going to be, first let's make a set. How do I make a set from the cities array? New set. New set cities. And now I want this to be an array. How do I make an array from a set? Array.from, or I prefer this one. Yeah, I prefer to spread the set. But array.from would be okay. So now we have an array without the repeated cities. And what I did afterwards, I was comparing the first cities array, and I wanted to find the city that on the same index as the unique cities, they're different. Because if they are, so if you look for Vienna at, so let's do it. It's better to do it. So return cities dot find the city, and we need the index think I did it this way. So now we are going to compare cities on the position index with the yeah, and we need the unique cities. Yes, unique cities at the position I, and we want to find one that is not the same. And I think this should work. If it doesn't work, we'll find out how to do it.
Second I need to be index.
Ah, yes, sorry. And not something else? No. Yeah, it works.
You paste this code with Java.
This one, yes. Yeah, of course. Actually, the first time I did it this way was today. Before I used to do a different one. So, Command C. So, is there another one? Sorry, I have to test it and submit. Yeah, this one. Okay. It's the last one, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a string, because we can't call it a word, because these are just, I don't know, characters. So string, and then we have some forbidden characters. Okay. I'll write forbidden because we don't have much space on the screen. But it would be better in terms of semantic forbidden characters. So so we want to filter so yeah, let's do it with filter. So we have a string and we want to use an array method. So how do I make it an array? Split. Split, and what do I pass inside?
Just the
Yeah, just the empty string. So that's the quotes. Now that we have an array, we can filter it. So dot filter. Now, how do I call each element of the array? Let's call it character. And we want to filter the characters that are not in the forbidden array. So forbidden dot includes character, but we want the ones that are not included. That's why we negate it. Next step. Now we have, I'll test it to see what we have so far. You see, now we have, oops, not in this case. Oh yes, in this case too. Yeah. So now we have the array with the characters that are not included on the forbidden. So the next step is going to be what? To join them. And what do I put inside the join as argument? Semicolon?
yeah, single column.
A semicolon.
Yeah.
Like this?
No, single quote.
Ah, okay. Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. and it works. And that was it, I think.
It's so simple when you do it.
Okay, so I'll stop streaming. Thank you.